Some of us took this video at face value. We authentically believed everything that Naomi King was saying in this video. I know some of us have probably put in positions where people don't believe us, people question everything. But one of the things that I've learned, especially in this platform, is that you can't always take things at face value. When somebody comes forward, especially on a public platform, to out and allege abuser, perpetrator, an alleged person that committed SA, the person making allegation has to stand against a lot of things. It happens in court all the time. A person will have to testify against the person in front of peers, in front of lawyers, and essentially be torn apart at times if it doesn't make sense. I want to talk about the gray areas of these allegations specifically because, like I said, I took this video at face value, but it was watching this second video that really had me question a lot more about the situation. On this video, Naomi very much makes it a point to say how she was ingesting edibles in Vegas, waiting by the poolside. She'd been ingesting throughout the day before Daniel Greene's flight came in.
I needed her to know that he was sober and wide awake. Fucking done crying about this shit. He was sober and wide awake, and I was half asleep and on drugs, which he knew. I had arrived in Vegas in the morning, and I spent 420 just getting baked by the pool, taking 40 milligram edibles all day, because it was fucking 420. He turned up at midnight, sober and awake, and pressured me, half asleep and on drugs, into sexual things that he and I had agreed beforehand would not happen.
I had been taking 40 milligrams edibles every 2 hours the entire day because it was 420. Again, she gives us this message. This is 420. This message between her and Daniel was about, 12 p.m. or something like that. This message was my only first dose. And I'm reading this, and Daniel's basically talking to her like, I'm going to try to sleep on the plane so I have night energy. And then she responds, I ate 40 milligrams. Going to go to the pool now. Holy fuck, how high are you going to be? 50 is fun time in space. 40 is fun time on Earth. What Naomi doesn't tell us in the video, I received a cease and desist from Daniel Greene and threats to sue me, is that Daniel Greene had taken an edible as well upon his arrival to the trip, apparently. Now, that was something that Naomi let us know on the Daniel Greene situation part 2.
Upon seeing me, he commented on how high I looked. So I said, you want to catch up? He took half a bite of one, which would have been 10 milligrams, but that takes about an hour to kick in. So when he did what he did, he was still sober. I went back to sleep, and I did remove this because I was now under the blankets.
I think this is important for context, right? So you initially said, and you pushed the point that this man was sober. Yes, 10 milligrams may not be so much, but not knowing exactly, we don't know what his tolerance is. Now, again, this is not excusing anything that allegedly might have happened, but if Naomi is coming forward and misinterpreting or not telling the full context of something, hey, you're putting it out there. It leaves room for people to speculate, well, what the hell happened? And why didn't you say this on the first video, but you're saying this on the second video? Like, it leaves room for that, right? And I think that anybody who is questioning some of this, maybe not loudly, would ask that question, if you know what I mean. But the thing is that if you're going to tell the situation and you're actually reenacting some of what's happening, you would think that these are details that you would tell, right? Like these little specific details. The reenacting part, it's one thing to tell details about a alleged sex assault, right? Like that is one thing. It's something completely different to have somebody reenact. I don't understand that piece. Out of my years of working with people, victims, and stuff like that, out of everything, I've never seen anybody reenact something unless it's in a court of law, unless they're having to do testify in court and they're having to, even that is giving details, or they're having to, walk through a crime scene and, there's cameras and stuff like that. So I didn't understand the reenactment. I know a lot of people felt, especially in my comments, some type of way about an alleged victim reenacting being perpetrated. It just did not sit well for a lot of folks. Now, to be fair, there is no model victims, right? Like victims, when somebody goes through something, you just never really know what the body's going to do, how the brain, receives information afterwards, the healing from that. They say that trauma is like a fingerprint in the brain, right? That it always stays there and it's always there. And I would suggest that you guys re-listen to both videos, because I definitely think that it's always good to hear both sides of a story before making a decision. I have learned that here on YouTube, especially seeing, people come forward and make allegations on people, that the full story is not always out the way that it needs to be. Context is everything, right? Keep that in mind. I didn't understand this sugar daddy thing. She said, well, I'm not a sugar baby. He wanted to spoil me. This is what it was. Why not spoil you by getting a separate room? You guys are going to come for me in the comments, but I have questions, okay? Why not spoil you by getting a separate room? Specifically, if you're having to outline with somebody, nothing's going to happen. We're just friends. This man is coming here with a lot of money. Why not spoil you by getting you a separate room, right? Like that would have been my question. I don't understand this piece. Um, However, the other side to this is sleeping naked on a bed is not an invitation for a sex assault. There are people in my comments that are saying, well, why would she do this? Yada, yada. First of all, let me say this again. Sleeping naked on a bed is not an open invitation for a sex assault. So I'm never going to justify any of that. What I am going to say is that, in my opinion, it seems to me that Naomi was having like an emotional affair with this man who had been with his girlfriend, I believe her name is Kayla, for many, many years. And I put responsibility and ownership on both of these as adults. This is where the situation gets really messy. Because when you sit there and you say that I was this man's therapist for 2-3 years, and this man is in a relationship, how would she feel about you saying that the man that she's with is you're the therapist and not like you're licensed? Like it's one thing to say, I'm his friend, but I have a problem. I don't know, a lot of women in my chat, I wonder what y'all think about that if your significant other that you've been with for years, months, whatever it may be, has a friendship with a woman and she openly says that I have been his therapist and that you've tried to bring them together through this 8-page letter, which by the way is not shown. There's a lot of things that in these videos, some things are shown, some things are not shown. And I get the feeling that the reason that a lot of things are not shown is because of the simple fact that it gives more context to the relationship. Something is just not making sense. Something tells me that when they first met in Vancouver, like the first time that they were together, based on what she's put out there, it was said in the message that she wanted something to happen, and that it wasn't reciprocated. And so then this Vegas trip happens, and this is where she didn't consent. And again, consent is revocable, right? So yes, she could have been in the middle of, she could have been naked. You know what? She could have teased him, and she still could have said, it's not going to happen. Again, consent is revocable, right? She could change her mind. And I mean, that's just how things are. That's how consent works. And by the way, this is for both men and women, they or them, right? That, consent, if you don't consent, if you're in the middle of an act and then suddenly you change your mind, you're allowed to say no. That is like number one, right? So, regardless of who it is, whether it's him in the scenario or her in the scenario or they and them in the scenario, whatever it may be, the consent can be revocable at any time. even if they had too much to drink, too many drugs, building up to that moment, whatever it might have been. Period. Sleeping naked isn't an invitation for a sex assault. I wanted to get back to this point, right? Of like you're playing therapist with an unattainable man. And I think you kind of knew that he was unattainable because I'm looking at the lyrics of your songs that you wrote to him, right? Some of which it's like, because I can't have you, your girlfriend, maybe one day. In these lyrics, you're I mean, these are songs that you wrote in the past about him, about a man that was already with somebody. This therapist that is barking up the tree of an unattainable man. It's just, I'm sorry, y'all. It's not okay. Lyrics. Or if you read the lyrics, because I can't have you. Did I fucking push you away when you fucking try to give me love? Did I fuck up wanting everything only when I have it? There's a war inside me burning through my veins. I'm so fucking lonely, yet I run away. I'm so pushed and I pulled in and pulled into it done to me. Now I'm here with no one left. It's just me, the voices in my head. Now, chorus of this, it looks like it says, you're all I want because I can't have you. You're all I want because you found someone new. You're all I want, and now I've got no one. If you go to the song of your girlfriend, we knew each other long before she did. I don't know if that's the case, but okay. You can't blame me if I feel to some extent it's not cheating if you never change the way you've been. Baby, if I come and take your hand, there's part of me that doesn't care if she's your girlfriend. They say art imitates life. This would be an example of that. It's something about playing therapist with a man that is in a relationship. In my understanding, they might be engaged. He was having an emotional affair with you, even though you say in your screenshots, okay, because I do think that this is important to point out. We were not having an affair. He was begging me for one. I talked him down from cheating multiple times. That's not what you're showing. You're not showing any of these messages. You're not showing any of that. There's so much context that's still missing from this. Now, this is interesting. Okay, I wanted to point something out because as soon as Naomi dropped her Daniel Greene situation part 2, there was a couple of creators and a couple of people that deleted their comments from Naomi's video. And I thought this was interesting because suddenly like people are saying, well, I don't they're questioning her story now, right? So to me, I was like, well, this is why y'all got to wait to hear all sides of a story, right? Because you don't know. But again, it is a reaction feeling. On the other side of this, I know what it feels like to be victimized and not be believed. Because there is no perfect victims. There are no model victims, right? There is this like syndrome. I wouldn't have, I couldn't have, I wouldn't have done that type of situation where people try to explain away behaviors or justify what they wouldn't do or would do in a situation that they've never been through or have never been a part of. And this is why I think that there's some of us, like myself, I'll put myself in there, where we do believe victims first. But the reality is that it's okay for those that are in that position to sit back and analyze the information as is and then make your judgment. Now, it's been said that he was going to take legal action against her. And if she lives in Canada, and I'm not really well versed in this area of the law, so I was kind of curious because I know the American courts have no jurisdiction over the Canadian courts. And so it makes things a little bit difficult to sue, but it is possible to sue in Canada. It is possible to sue a Canadian in the United States, but it's a very complicated process, and that's my understanding of it. So I'm kind of curious. Now I'm going to say this is very distasteful. All right. I don't know if this is somebody that was hired by Daniel Greene, but I have somebody in my comments who I wasn't going to say anything, but they're literally in every comment. They're called Reputation in Crisis. So I guess it's a channel that fixes people's reputations. Please don't come in here sending links about Daniel's statement. he's already made it. I know, I've included it in the video, and the first video that I did. Like, Daniel, if you're hiring a PR person to do all this for you and go into everybody's comments, don't do that. We can pick up on that. It's just, it don't sit right. So yeah, this person at YouTube and hashtag Daniel Greene responds to Naomi King's false sexual assault allegation. It was consensual. And then they link Daniel's video, which there's a setting on my YouTubes where I block links because you got people sending me porno links. And listen, I don't want that on my channel. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You guys gave me a lot of comments on my video yesterday, so I figured I kind of gave you another video where I've processed this a little bit more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, some of you guys wrote me like, lengthy dissertations, which is awesome. What do you guys stand? Where do you stand now that it's been 24 hours? I'll see you guys later. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, do all those good